Good morning, American Society students. As I told you the other day, I am out of town, way down in Viroqua, Wisconsin, celebrating the life of my uncle, who was cool and all that good stuff. So, here's what you're doing today. You're probably seeing the email right now that looks something like this. I'm going to send that off in a minute after I link up this video. Okay, first thing you're going to do is peer edit another's raft writing from the last class. So if you've noticed lately, we've been doing a little more peer editing. I'm trying to show you guys that proofreading is important and encourage you to do that more often. I think sometimes the best way to do that is to show you each other's writing and say, look at all those errors, and you do the same thing. So with that said, here's that activity. You are going to just read the email, but basically scroll down and you can see the expectations. You can work with the partner that you wrote the raft with and basically just read another's, comment on the spelling and grammar, and then comment on the grade you're going to give them by copying and pasting the rubric into their document and commenting on it. All of yours should be shared with me already, so don't worry about sharing it again. If you haven't shared yours with me, make sure you do so. So I'll be going through and looking at these. I'll look at the actual writing and I'll look at the peer editing as well. And then we'll be using this same stuff on our test that you'll be taking Friday. In order to do that, though, one thing you're going to have to understand is those experiments. So if you totally get it, and maybe I helped you out in class and you get it, you don't have to watch this part. You can maybe skip this part of the video. But I highly doubt most of you truly get it, because it was a tough article to read. So here's what it was about. It was about how scarcity, and in times of scarcity, we tend to view people of the not white people anyway, tend to view not white people as more non-white than they actually are. And we get better at identifying racial differences with each other. And I'll explain that all in a bit. So in a nutshell, you can make the argument that when the economy is bad, racism increases. And there's a whole bunch of studies out there that show that is a true thing in our society. So the article centers on the idea of scarcity, which is a state in which there is something that all people want, but not enough of that something for all people to have. Essentially, in a nutshell, that means an economic time that isn't very good. There's not enough money to go around. So the first experiment was about this. They asked people this question: when blacks make economic gains, whites lose out economically. And then people said disagree, agree, or strongly agree. Now, the people who strongly agreed with that statement, which is kind of a silly statement if you think about it, but those who strongly agreed, and everybody, were then shown faces of like a person of a mixed race. And they were asked, is this face black, white? What do you think? So what they found in the experiment was that those that strongly agreed with that statement were more likely to place a mixed race person to be black. So like they look at this guy and say black, right? When in reality I don't really know what the race of that gentleman is. All I know is I would probably trade my face with his. So that's the first one. Showed him a statement. Those who strongly agreed were more likely to tell or more likely to say that a person was black when shown a picture of a mixed race face. Second experiment. They showed them words, a lot like that implicit racism exercise you did on the computer. I think that was last week, maybe last Friday. They would show them words. These words were in 3 categories. One of those categories was scarcity type categories. So they would show them words like not enough or only a few left and things like that. So those that saw the scarcity words were then more likely to perceive a face as black. So if the word not enough popped up and then this guy's face popped up, you're more likely to perceive him as black than you were if the word fluffy popped up. If the word fluffy popped up and you saw this face, you would be more likely to not perceive him as black. So pretty interesting stuff there. Last but not least was experiment 3. This one is the most complicated. What they did is now a role play, and they role played a situation of scarcity. So long story short, they gave people some money. They told some people that there was only so much money to go around, and they told other people nothing. Just said, here's some money, you're going to give it away. Then the people who were in the situation of scarcity, which was the situation where there wasn't that much money to go around, were then shown two faces, and they were asked to choose which one of those faces is black, which one is white. So they'd see two faces down here. Let's say they look like this, and I'm like, okay, one of these guys is white, one's black, which one's which? I choose this guy's black. At the end of all this, they took all the faces of the people, those that are in the scarcity group and those in the not scarcity group, and put them all together to complete one face. And those in the scarcity group right here ended up compiling a blacker face than those in the not scarcity group. So essentially, they were better at choosing. People that were in a situation of scarcity were better at identifying black faces from white faces than the other people, which is very interesting. Kind of neat stuff. Humans are weird. So that was the experiment. And that's really all you need to see from me on a video. Please go back and refer to your email and go through those steps today. Hopefully you get the essay mostly planned and you've got some time to fill out your study guide and study all those other vocab words that are on it. I think that part of the test will be relatively easy. The tough part is going to be this essay. I'm going to stop and I will see you tomorrow.